here on this stage. You do have access to go and watch back any of that over at flightsimexpo.com/watch. For those of you watching online on our YouTube channel right now, you're welcome to purchase access as well to see everything that you missed right here on the stage. Anyone do the PC build session earlier today? Yeah? Was that good? Did they do it? Nice. Okay, good stuff. So lots of really cool content available for you for folks who might be interested. Of course, that is all available. So I want to spend a couple minutes talking about why we kind of pick certain venues and how we go about figuring out where this show should be in order to basically lead us to where the show will be next year. We look at a number of factors, obviously, but here's some of the most important ones. The first one would be costs for you. So we know that if you have a family especially and you're traveling, you have to decide, am I bringing the wife and kids or the partner and kids or partner or not? You have to think about budget of a hotel room night, of a flight, of all those things. Your Flights and Expo registration is just a small part of that. But we're trying to make sure that this show stays within everyone's budget, so it's accessible and inclusive for everybody from around the country and around the world. So that's one of our biggest initial factors is, can we get to a hotel room night or accommodation that works with as many budgets as possible? The other big factor is costs for exhibitors. We want this show to be available to exhibitors of all sizes, large international organizations and small developers who are doing this as a side hustle like me. And so we need to make sure that internet, electricity, these are items that can be packaged into a booth for $700 or $1,000. I can't go to an exhibitor and say, hey, it's going to be $4,000 for internet over the course of the weekend. That doesn't work in our industry. And so that's a limiting factor on especially larger venues, larger convention centers and downtown markets. That's a place that we just can't go yet as a show because those types of things price us out of those markets. And the third big thing is ease of travel. So we want it to be easy for anyone from the United States to get to where we need to go. We want it to be easy for the many international attendees and exhibitors. Who's here from outside the United States along with me? Wow, that's awesome, guys, right? So we need it to be easy for you. Yeah, welcome. I like that. So it has to be easy for you to get to. And if I was to ask that same question to our exhibitors, it'd be about half who are coming from overseas, maybe even more. So it's really important for us to have good, easy access for those traveling from overseas. Now, funnily enough, I get all these complaints about Vegas being hard to get to. And I'm like, come on, people. I went to FS Weekend. I had to fly there, take a train, and then I walked for an hour from the train station because I couldn't figure out European Uber. And you can't get to Vegas? Painful. All right, so that's that. Now let's talk about kind of room rates and one of the biggest factors when it comes into costs. So leaving Houston last year, we asked you in a survey, what is the highest nightly room rate, including taxes, that you want to pay? And this was the survey data. So $100 to $150 a night, that was the sort of happy range for people. That doesn't buy you a lot these days. We're at about $170 a night all in here at the Rio. That was similar to Tropicana as well. And so that $150 to $200 a night range is a big limiting factor for us. But we know that it's an important factor for many of you. And so for us to go to, say, a big hotel in maybe Philadelphia or Seattle or Nashville, they're probably the only big hotel in that city that has enough room for us. And they are not giving away their space for $150 a night. The only markets who really kind of can do that are Vegas and Orlando, because there are about, what, 20 of these kind of places here in Vegas, and Orlando is the same thing. That's why they're convention cities. So then you might say, okay, well, what if we start looking at outside the box? Instead of just hotels, what if we start looking to convention centers? Not necessarily your big city convention centers, but maybe something a little bit further afield. Does the pricing start to come down, and does that unlock new markets? And the answer is yes. So if you take, instead of a big city convention center, something that's nearby, you're able to get the price point that works. And that starts to unlock new markets for us. So instead of the same convention cities and the same hotels, we can now go somewhere different. And that's what's going to be happening next year. I didn't even reveal anything. By the way, I had all of you trying to guess over the course of the weekend, and not a single person guessed right. Not Anchorage, Alaska. So you might ask, okay, well, what about museums or airports? I really love the concept of being in a museum. Like, who was in Houston, right? So like that was a lot of fun, being around the airplanes, being on an airport. That was fantastic. Now, of course, we've already outgrown that museum, and we've done a fair amount of research. I think it's safe to say that we don't think there is a big enough museum out there that is willing to host us. There are big museums, but they may not close to the public. They may not be willing to do a 3 or 4 day show where they have to move their collection outside or somewhere else. Like an aviation museum is designed to have a bunch of things inside it, and we need them to get those things outside so we can go inside. That doesn't work for a lot of them. Same thing for airports. Like, I would love it if there's some airport with like an unused terminal building and we could just take it over for the weekend. Like, how cool would that be? So, well, it doesn't exist, but but if it did exist, that would be great. So my comment back to you is like, challenge that assumption. Like I've said before, when David kind of pointed out the Rio to us, if you can think of a place like that that has 60,000 square feet of convention space, that's what the Rio Pavilion over there is, another 30,000 square feet of meeting space, that's what this room is. If you can think of that you think would be willing to host us, send it to me. But I've talked to almost all of them, and I don't think it exists. So that kind of narrows it down a little bit. All right, now let's talk about the dates. So the question people often ask me is, why did we do this show in June? A couple reasons. Firstly, it's the beginning of summer vacation. So you haven't spent your whole summer vacation budget yet. Mostly kids are out of school, and I want more kids at this show. We need more kids at this show. So doing it, yeah. So doing it at the beginning of the summer, that's kind of a good time. You're a few months after the big Sun and Fun Air Show in Florida. You have to stay far enough away from Oshkosh, the big show in Wisconsin. And you have to also be thinking about the fact that we've got a lot of things going on over the course of the summer. Another big thing that happens at the beginning of June is that Xbox Game Showcase. So we always know Microsoft Flight Simulator is going to make some big announcement at the beginning of June. And if we can be here 2 or 3 weeks later to get all the details like we did yesterday, that works really nicely. So we basically get all the benefit of that free publicity that Xbox has to do, and that brings more people and more eyeballs to this show. So that's kind of some of the reasons why June is an important month for us and why you tend to see it around this time of year. So with that in mind, back on Friday, I played this quick video from Alana.
Hi, I'm Alana. At 2:30 p.m. on Sunday, we'll be announcing the date and location for Flight Sim Expo 2025. Be in the Brasilia room or watch online at that time to find out where next year's show is going to be.
So I guess it's that time. So let me tell you that Flight Sim Expo 2025 is going to be in a place where there is a regional airport that is less than an hour from a major international airport. It's going to be a place that is connected by Amtrak, regional commuter rail, very easy to get to. It's going to be on I-95. I'm always scared because I'm in like a room of West Coast people, so we'll see how this goes. There's 25% of the US population within driving distance. There's beach. And unlike in Vegas, sometimes it rains there. So let me bring back Alana, who we know from Friday, to reveal the dates and location for 2025.
Hi again, I'm Alana, and I'm here to share with you the dates and location of Flight Sim Expo 2025. First, the dates. Flight Sim Expo 2025 will be held June 27th through 29th, 2025, in a city that is in the northeastern US. It's accessible by air, train, and car, and it's in a city that's known for its vibrant arts, culture, and dining scene. As I said earlier, I'm Alana from the Providence Warwick Convention and Visitors Bureau. I'm so excited to share that Flight Sim Expo 2025 will be taking place at the Rhode Island Convention Center in Providence. I can't wait to see you all there.
So there it is, Flight Sim Expo 2025, as she said, will be held at the Rhode Island Convention Center in Providence on June 27th to 29th, 2025. I'm not sure if I'm getting played off the stage or if I can keep talking. I guess I'll keep going. It says I have 19 minutes left. I won't go that long. So a number of things that helped us get to that point, all those things that I mentioned to you before, we've already done all of our bookings, and we have an attached hotel, so there's no need to take buses. Everything's right there in central downtown. But we also have 3 or 4 other options. So for people who like a higher end property, that exists, and for people more on a budget, those options are there too. That's what a convention center starts to unlock for us, along with a new market that's in a different place, one of the places that we've been constantly asked about over the past several years. So we're really happy and excited about that. But there's another big factor here, and that is that, like I said before, at $150 or $200 a night room rate, we are not the most attractive group, to be honest, right? Like, let's face it, if they can get a $500 a night group in here, why would they not do that, right? That would make a lot of sense. But in Providence, we are actually kind of a big deal. So much so that they have had people here all weekend walking around with you to get a vibe of the show. That's how important we are to that city. They actually want us to be there. So they were here to get a sense as to who we are, what kinds of activities and fun things would there be to do after the show, and they are going to be at registration with giveaways and information about Providence for you as you walk out the door today. So everything in downtown, very walkable, very easy. Here's hoping we have nice weather. By the way, it was like 100 degrees there a week ago. And humid, yes. So as I get set to wrap things up for this year, I want to leave you with this. I said at the beginning of this show that you really are our best advocate. You guys being here at the event, our exhibitors, our sponsors, that's what brings a crowd. And the bigger the crowds are, the more we can do. That's why this year we can look to a new market and bring this show to somewhere we've never been before. So as you leave today, it's time to think about what can you do over the next year and 6 or 7 days to be able to keep this show growing. Can you find someone to bring to the show next year? Can you talk to a new developer who hasn't been here before and explain to them why they need to get here? Can you think of a pilot friend or someone who's into any other simulator, like say Racing Sim, and bring them to this show? Yeah. Right? What can we all do to keep this event growing? I'll tell you one quick story here. We have a developer who came to the show for the first time. I'm not going to mention any names, but I've been trying to get them for 5 years. Not once have they answered my emails or my phone calls, and that happens. I mean, that happens a lot. I reach out to like 300 plus developers alongside a team of a few of us. We don't get a lot of responses. That's fine. But finally this year, somebody mentioned them on our YouTube channel, and somebody responded, and someone else responded to that. And the next day, they phoned me. And they're like, hey, do you guys have exhibit space? We want to come to the show this year. That's because somebody out there helped. So any one of those developers that you can think of who's not here, who should be here, please help us by reaching out to them, help us by bringing a friend, and let's continue to build our community-driven Flight Sim convention together. So with that in mind, yeah, thank you. Go ahead, thank you, I appreciate that. So with that in mind, I'm going to wrap things up. I will be out front alongside the Go Providence team to answer any questions, to share some information about next year's event. On behalf of Phil, myself, the Flight Sim Association community, our wonderful volunteers, our exhibitors, our sponsors, our developers, thank you so much for being here. That is it for 2024. See you in Providence.
All right, not bad. Not bad at all. Now, we did miss one. Well, thank you, cool guy. Cool. Thank you, cool video guy. I appreciate that. Hey, what's up, bot? What's going on, my dude? How you been? All right, so we did miss one presentation. Let's at least put it on and check it out. But other than that, everything is on my channel already. Providence, Rhode Island. That's not too bad from where I live in Maryland. I could probably drive there in about 5 hours. Fly there in about an hour and a half, maybe. All right, so I didn't do this one yet. Take your home cockpit's wiring and cable management to the next level. So let's check this out. This will be the last one that we do. Yep. So let's see what's going on with this one.
Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about home cockpit wiring, specifically cable management. I'm really excited for today's presentation because it helps you avoid all of those situations where you're ready to take off or ready to start your engine. You click, 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 almost start it, and then realize a wire fell off. You have to go under under your simulator, look at all the cables, find which one fell out, figure out exactly where it went to the board. So that's just a disaster all around. So today, let's start it off with cable management, and then we'll go next on to the wiring. So my first tip for your cable management is to plan, plan, and plan. So if you can get a really good draft of your simulator setup and then go from there, it'll make all the difference. Right here, I have a drawing, and I put my monitors right there, my yoke, throttle, and then I planned out that it would be the best location to put a USB hub just under the desk, mounted with some command strips, and if that won't do it, you can mount usually to the under your desk with some screws and brackets if you don't mind drilling into your precious desk. The same thing with the power supply. The computer goes to the power supply, which goes to the outlet, and then everything is just kind of routed nicely. My tip is to add 8 inches to your measured wiring, and then just buy the cable that length so that you don't have a bunch of extra wire, or even worse, in my opinion, is a wire that's too short and is just kind of awkwardly dangling, ready to get tripped over. My second tip is to fasten things wherever possible to your wall or your table. I really like these adhesive table clamps, or cable clamps right here. If you pop up them, you can swing wires in, and that makes it really nice for modular systems where you say, take out your yoke a bunch, and you just want to put it back in, switch out your hardware however you want to. So it's really, in my opinion, very important to keep this flexible, adaptable, because your simulators will likely change. My third tip is to use hook and loop, or Velcro tabs. I guess that is what I was thinking of as hook and loop before, but it's Velcro. Now, if you can get all of your cables into one central, kind of cable grouping, that can help you a lot with your wiring. You can see this image on the left, and then if you imagine all of the wires just expanded everywhere, it's very nice to just have this one central place right here. And if you're extra fancy, you can use this fancy cable mesh right here, wire it all up, shove everything through, use some zip ties. You can get a really clean situation there. You can also use automotive conduit, or just sections of zip ties, or hook and loop wraps. So that is my probably favorite tip, just to keep everything nice and tidy. Now, my fourth tip is to think long and hard about your power distribution. I'd always recommend using a surge protector connected to your computer, just because that is expensive stuff. Some of it is rated, some of it is less sensitive than others, but I like to just play it safe, put a surge protector on everything. If you put your power strip kind of central to your whole system, it looks a lot cleaner than if you put your power strip off to the side and then route really long cables all the way to that side. My fifth tip is to use 90 degrees. You can see on the right image, all of these 90-degree cables look really nice. It made my brain explode a little bit how clean it is, versus the one on the left, which also made my brain explode, but for completely different reasons. You can see these are all routed cleanly, nicely. They don't take the path of least resistance. There's some thought put into where they go, where they came from. As you can see, they definitely followed tip 1, to plan. Now, my sixth tip is to label the cable. You can use these bread tags, which is something I saw on Pinterest, which I thought was really cool, until I realized that it means that 1 week you have to eat 12 loaves of bread. You can also use electric tape, and if you have a label maker, you can use that, print out really nice labels. You never have to think about what that random cable goes to. I used this bread bag tip right here, and I labeled my air fryer with, "This is a wire." So naming it does come in handy. I wouldn't recommend this convention. On a little bit more detail on the electrical tape, I have this color standard that I like a lot. You use orange for computer hardware, you use yellow for primary controls, green for off-the-shelf components, and then blue for custom devices. And so this, you just like at a glance think, oh, this is that type of thing. And then I use white for everything else. You can just use a Sharpie. Super easy, just at a glance, what is this? And that is really important. My 7th tip is to think a lot about your USB hubs. I really like this sort of USB hub. A lot of ports, easily turn them on and off, and then really well built. So this Case's 16 or 10 port USB hub is my favorite. If you're using kind of the smaller USB hubs, make sure that you have enough power for your devices. If you're drawing more than half an amp, and you can usually see on electronics how much current they draw, and then just add that up. If they're going to draw more than half an amp, then, or even close to that total, make sure you're powering your USB hubs or your USB ports. Technically,
Everyone, if you could take your seats, we're going to start the presentations again. We've got Say in 10.
Using the latest generation of AI technology. And we said, you know, when we're done, it might be kind of cool to play with it, you and I. Well, we got a little carried away, as you are about to see. Everything that I show in this video is real, it's live today, and in fact, it was taken off of our live servers. So nothing you see here is scripted, and you could have it right now. Here we go, check this out. One more.
Palo Alto ground, Skyhawk 172 Sierra Papa type Cessna 172 looking for VFR departure to the north with flight following, and we have information, Papa.
Skyhawk 172 Sierra Papa Palo Alto ground, good morning. Clear to the north, VFR at or below 3,500. Departure will be 121.3.
Delta 1219, good morning. Runway 32 via Charlie Echo and then over to Lima, please.
Delta 1219, Holy Short 32, ready for departure.
Delta 1219, thanks for being patient. Winds 230 at 6, runway 32 clear. Delta 1219, contact departure. Safe flight, sir.
KLM 310 identified. Climb and maintain 8,000. Turn left heading 320 vectors to Stigma.
Skyhawk 172 Sierra Papa, you're leaving my airspace. Squawk VFR, frequency change approved. Safe flight, Brian.
Delta 1219, can we give a descent below this storm?
Delta 1219, roger, descend and maintain flight level 230, and let me know if you need more than that.
KLM 310, climb and maintain flight level 360. That aircraft passing below at your 10 is a citation. Should be no factor. Delta 1219, I can give you direct boomer if you're interested in a shortcut. Might save you a few minutes.
That sounds great, we'll take the direct, Delta 1219.
Delta 1219, roger. Cleared direct boomer. Descend and maintain 16,600.
Lufthansa 31 Hotel Langen Approach, erwarten Sie Landebahn 25 Center in Frankfurt sinken und halten Sie 11.000 Fuß.
If you look at our 1 o'clock, about 1 mile out, you'll see Kalaloa Beach Park. It was part of the former Barbers Point Naval Air Station. The beach is a perfect... Ladies and gentlemen, We've somehow managed to reach our cruising altitude of 37,000 feet, despite Captain Chris's best efforts to make this flight feel like a roller coaster. The fasten seatbelt sign is off now, but let's be honest. You might want to keep that seatbelt fastened just in case he decides to surprise us with some more creative flying.
Pay attention to the sound of the engine. A smooth, steady sound indicates proper mixture.
Delta 1219, we're having trouble with the left engine. Declaring an emergency, need to divert to Tampa if we can.
Delta 1219, understood. Safe fuel remaining and souls on board. I'll clear the way to Tampa. Descend at your discretion. Say intentions when able. 1219, winds 225 at 12 runway 19er left, clear to land. Delta 1219, welcome to Tampa. We've got emergency equipment on standby if you need it.
Yeah. Come on! How cool is this? I gotta tell you, I have my moments when I'm sitting in the cockpit and I'm flying with that thing and I just go, this is so cool, right? It's like the little boy in me just comes alive when I hear this stuff. It's so cool. Well, like I said, we got a little carried away with our original goal, but I'm glad that we did. The ATC side is incredible. IFR, VFR, 24/7 coverage, 88,000 airports, oceanic, PIREPS, chatter, traffic advisories, as you heard in there, region-specific procedures. You can pick up a flight midair. If you manage to lose VATSIM coverage midair, just pick it up midair or on the way in and vice versa, no problem. On the immersion side, speaks and understands 14 languages, you guys. Come on, we're the first ATC in the world to speak some of these languages. It's incredible. Full VR support. The controllers have distinct personalities. Some of them are super friendly. Some of them are not so friendly, just like in real life. Yes, we model that. By the way, we also have Kennedy Steve. His voice, with his permission, is the ground controller at JFK. Very cool. Yeah, and the personality is there. The personality is there and it's hilarious, yes. Full multiplayer support. One of the important pieces of this for us was 0 menus, 0 clicks, right? We wanted this to really feel like legitimate ATC. Tablet, mobile view, regional accents, those beautiful neural voices that you heard are unlimited. 0 impact on your CPU or your frame rate, and you can pause, accelerate, walk away, whatever you want. Like I said, a little carried away. We're not done. We got a lot of work to do, but we've got some great stuff coming up. Things like traffic injection, full AI sequencing of that traffic, living world AI, and tons more surprises on the way. Those who've been our customers or have been following us know we announce something pretty cool just about weekly. All of that is coming this year. All of this is built on top of best of breed cloud compute AI platforms, right? OpenAI, AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, all of these play critical roles in bringing together the multiple AI platforms needed to make this thing live and real. I'm gonna talk about that here in just a second. Actually, let me add that one of the downsides of this, which we're gonna talk about in just a second, is that this platform is eye-wateringly expensive to run. We're gonna talk about that in a second. We bring together also, let's see, which slide am I on here? The one on the left? Oh, there we go, I'm on that one. Yeah, I mentioned these platforms that we bring together in addition to the partners that you saw on the previous slide in order to build this wonderful flight simulation ecosystem. But AWS, Google Cloud, OpenAI, Azure all play critical roles in what we're doing. We bring together all of this into the AI, or bring all this AI into the cockpit. But we realized not too long ago that the same technology that we're using to deliver ATC can do tons more. So we brought in tour guides, like you saw in the video, right? Cool stuff, right? It is legitimately really cool if you're flying around VFR and those tour guides are pointing out things as you're flying through the air. It's really neat. Flight instructors or mentors that will guide you through procedures and things like that while you're in the air. By the way, fully interactive with both of these. You can ask them questions, they'll answer back, literally have a conversation. Not too bad for $29.95, but hold on. I don't want any applause yet. Not at that price, right? We've never been happy with that price, but we've made promises where we've said, look, as the price of the technology comes down, we promise we promise we're gonna make that okay, right? We're going to solve that problem. We can solve it in two ways. One of them is by bringing you more, right? There's more we can bring you for that amount. So, I have two more things for you. The first one is, as of today, it's live now, we're adding AI cabin crews. Kind of cool, right? You heard in the video the cabin crew kind of ribbing the pilot a little bit. That's available as of now. That's included in the subscription fee. But maybe more important than that, well, let me add this here. Yeah, you can actually pick your cabin crew. We'll add more cabin crews as time goes along. And we're gonna add all kinds of features. Yeah. I'm so glad you guys noticed that. By the way, they adopt these personalities, by the way. The grade A group, that's exactly what you would expect on a normal flight. Quitting time, yeah, they've had enough. And for those who are our customers, raise your hand if you're familiar with our tour guide, Janet. Anybody here? A few people? Okay, good. Janet is very funny, and she is now, she can now be your flight attendant in addition to her role as a tour guide, so you can bring her in there. But I want to emphasize, and this is really important, guys, we keep our promises, and that promise I mentioned to you about price, that as the cost of this insanely cool AI technology comes down, we would pass that along to you. Guys, we're making good on that today. As of right now, the price is now $19.95 a month instead of $29.95 a month. I'm very excited about this. We did it. We're not done with the price drops, by the way. Again, as the price of the technology platforms continues to go down, we intend to pass those on to you guys. Stop by our booth. If you can't, we've got a 24-hour trial that is free, so anybody can go in, try it out, see what it's all about. But at our booth, we're also giving away discounts for $5 off your first month, which should be very cool, give you a chance to really get in there for 30 days. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Come say hi to us. Come say hi.